and happiness. I will give my best, you will give your best. We will give our best to beautiful Ghana. Work and happiness, yes, I must confess, it will bring success for beautiful Ghana. United farmers and workers of Africa, God will bless you wherever you are. Work and happiness, yes, I must confess, all must give their best for beautiful Ghana. United farmers and workers of Africa.
Hello everyone and welcome to the GrainMate virtual launch. Thank you for making the time to be with us today. We hope you are staying safe and taking care of yourself wherever you are. Now this launch is going to be in two parts. In the first part, we'll hear from some of our partners and stakeholders who have been working with us since the beginning. They will share with us their work on post-harvest management and highlight how their work with Sesi technologies is helping to reduce post-harvest losses in Africa and other parts of the world. In the second part, we'll introduce the technologies that we have for you today. My name is Sesi, and I am going to be your host for this launch. We've come a long way since we started this journey in 2018, and it's a good opportunity to reflect on how far we have come. So the first thing we're going to do on today's agenda is to take a trip down memory lane to see how far we've come in the last 2 years, and we've prepared a short video to highlight our journey so far. Enjoy. Those were some really great memories, and we are very grateful for how far that we have come. Now we are going to hear from some of the partners that have been with us since the beginning. And Sesi Technologies was born out of the Feed the Future Post-Harvest Loss Innovation Lab. And the first person we're going to hear from is Dr. Jaga Harvey, who is the director for the Feed the Future Innovation Lab for the reduction of post-harvest loss. Dr. Harvey will talk to us about how the Innovation Labs program is helping to reduce post-harvest loss in several countries.
Hello, I'm Dr. Jagger Harvey, a faculty member here at Kansas State University in the United States. I'm the director of the Feed the Future Innovation Lab for the reduction of post-harvest loss. Our program, PHLIL, has been working for about 7 years over 7 countries. Before I joined Kansas State University to lead the lab, I worked in Kenya with scientists across sub-Saharan Africa and farmers and traders and others for about 7 years. When we think about post-harvest loss issues, it turns out that a lot of what we work so hard to produce in the field ends up being consumed by insect pests or contaminated by fungus and molds, which can actually be pretty harmful to human and livestock health. So one of the biggest constraints that we and others have found to reducing post-harvest losses is adequate drying and storage of grains like maize. Our programs and others have found that post-harvest loss issues are a huge problem in developing countries and developed countries in the US at times, and that up to a third of the grain that's produced in developing countries like Ghana is being lost to insect pest damage and these fungal toxins, mycotoxins. Again, proper drying is a cornerstone of reducing post-harvest loss issues such as these. So proper drying of your grains and measuring those grains after harvest, the moisture content with a moisture meter is a critical step you can take. Our program has worked with Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology and other partners in Ghana, and in work led by the United States Department of Agriculture and Oklahoma State University to identify solutions to post-harvest loss issues, including in Ghana. Isaac Sesi and Sesi Technologies is one of the partners our program is proudest of for their efforts to produce and scale the GrainMate moisture meters in Ghana. This is a technology that offers accurate moisture measurement of many grains and legumes. It was developed under our program by USDA ARS, Oklahoma State University, and KNUST. In our research, we found that it is more accurate and available potentially at a lower price than popular moisture meters sold by big companies. And we published this in a peer-reviewed scientific publication. As a student at KNUST, Isaac came across the moisture meter and our program partners, and he worked to improve and achieve local production of the moisture meter. He founded Sesi Technologies, which has sold hundreds of GrainMate moisture meters to date. And Mr. Sesi has been recognized for his innovation and vision to reduce post-harvest losses for those who need it most by receiving multiple awards recently, including MIT's top 35 innovators globally under 35. So with the GrainMate moisture meter, Mr. Sesi and Sesi Technologies has achieved local production of a critical tool that's available to reduce post-harvest losses. So as you seek to develop a toolbox and strategies to reduce these losses and keep safe and healthy grains for use as food and feed, definitely make sure that you take steps to properly dry and store your grains. And we're really glad and proud to be associated with Sesi Technologies and their work to help you do this. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Harvey, for sharing the amazing work that your team is doing with us. The next person we are going to hear from is Dr. Paul Armstrong. Dr. Paul Armstrong is an agricultural researcher at the USDA Agricultural Research Service and the original developer of the moisture meter. He's going to tell us how the moisture meter came about.
So in early 2017, our PHL group was introduced to yourself, Isaac, and your young group of enterprising engineers, marketers, mostly people from KNUST, the local university there in Kumasi. And you were interested in marketing the PHL meter, it was called at that time, and you'd also developed a business plan for this. Since that time, I've worked with you extensively with Sesi Technologies, and you've forged ahead, creating the GrainMate from the original PHL meter concept. And you've made some tremendous technical improvements, increasing battery life, reducing manufacturing costs, sourcing materials and components, and refining function and appearance. You've also invested a lot in your human resource resources by developing engineering and marketing talents. For me, it's been a great experience working with your group from the beginning to see their knowledge develop as they strive to understand their market and their ability to adapt to users' needs. I really think you've already succeeded in so many ways, and I think you will continue to grow and expand your opportunities and improve on the GrainMate and hopefully many, many other products. It's been a great pleasure working with you over the years, and I hope to continue that.
Thank you, Dr. Armstrong. Our next speaker is Professor George Oppitt. He's a professor of stored products and post-harvest pest management at Oklahoma State University and the Ghana lead for the Post-Harvest Loss Innovation Lab. He'll be sharing with us the work of the Post-Harvest Loss Innovation Lab in Ghana and the successes that we have achieved so far.
I am George Oppitt, professor of stored products / post-harvest pest management at Oklahoma State University. I'm also the leader of the Ghana component of the Innovation Lab for Post-Harvest Loss Reduction. The Innovation Lab for Post-Harvest Loss Reduction has been operating in Ghana since 2014. Essentially, the lab is working to significantly reduce losses in post-harvest that occur in Ghana. Depending on who is writing and who is talking, these post-harvest losses in Ghana, for example, in the case of maize, which is the key commodity we're working on in Ghana, can range from anywhere from 30% to 80%. As soon as we began working in Ghana, maybe within the first 2 years, we were very quick to realize that there were really three key things that were contributing to a lot of these losses. The first of these were very high insect infestation, for example, in maize when it goes into storage. The second was the storage of commodities that had moisture content levels that were higher than those were expected when these commodities go into storage. And the third problem was lack of knowledge on best practices of storing these commodities once they had been placed in bags and they went into the stores. So those were really the three key issues that we had to deal with. So as the project progressed, 3, 4, 5 years in the project, we also quickly recognized that through our interaction with the stakeholders, these stakeholders were actually willing to change behavior. But there were certain things that were hampering that change in behavior for them to actually adopt technologies that could then be able to help them mitigate these losses that I already described. Okay. So one of the things that was prohibiting them from adopting technologies that could actually help them address these problems was the fact that there were no practical technologies that were available to them to be able to solve these problems. What do I mean by practical? By practical, I mean technologies that are affordable, that are user-friendly, technologies that are durable, so that when someone invests their money, they can have that technology over long periods of time. The second issue was that these technologies were not being taken close to the people who needed them. They were not being taken close to the stakeholders. For example, someone may understand that hermetic bags are important in mitigating insect infestation. But when they want to purchase those bags, the bags were not close to them. So these are some of the things that as a project, we had to try to figure out. Because over the first 5 years of the project, first 5, 6 years, we identified some key technologies which we believed were actually practical from the perspective that I described earlier. The other issue we had to then solve is, okay, how do we take these technologies closer, this demand, closer to the market, closer to the stakeholders. So over the last 2 years, from the experiences that we've had, we have realized that exactly these two challenges that were identified were actually the bottlenecks, okay, that were preventing these technologies from being adopted by stakeholders. Over the last 2 years, the number of zero-fly hermetic bags, for example, that have been sold or that have been demanded, by stakeholders has gone up tremendously. And this is because we have a practical product and because that product is actually durable. This is both the case for the zero-fly hermetic bag and the GrainMate moisture meter. And of course, the GrainMate moisture meter addresses the issue of storage of high moisture content commodities. Okay, so again, our experiences over the last 2 years have actually showed us that when you have technologies that are practical and that are durable, and those technologies can be taken closer to the demand, closer to the stakeholders, that the stakeholders actually adopt these technologies. And GrainMate has been a great example of that. So right now, as we speak, the orders for zero-fly hermetic bags in Ghana are very high. The demand for GrainMate is growing. And again, what these technologies have in common is that aspect, of being practical, being durable. And then, of course, as a project, as the Innovation Lab for the reduction of post-harvest loss, okay, and then working together with Sesi Technologies, we have been able to take, these technologies closer to the stakeholders who need them.
Thank you very much, Professor Opit. Now, before our last speaker comes, we want to show you a short video of the work we are doing in smallholder farmer communities in collaboration with the World Food Programme and how farmers are adopting the GrainMate moisture meter and the zero-fly hermetic bags.
And I'm penning for by any benches, far, yes, I would be and the quite fast ABC a brew abra and say, and told me a pair of Romeo, a bruni a brew back with the better the Baku Saku to Quimu, and the Baku to cool different, and I just Riviano, and the sea.
Would it much jaya? Catches a Wusumi Bia, young Connie and Koteki records.
If you are bed, 3 BCB, I say, take your records.
I shall say, would it? A machine no share a video. My check here. The decan, you check it, not a moisture no was rockacra. Yes, I check it, Busumi Beam. Now from it.
And see, I come and say, Mwamba, ama be a brunuso, ama more who dear Alcusi. The can be the Yaya Sakia, this Jaburia, so, and Pabrona say. And more women so cast obey him 1 hour to me, and kind. Now, grown so this color, I have blue B, black, blue, black B. And I know how I say, would you find your hair? Even be a crabia windy. 2. Papa Noah, a machine, no, a zero fly a bag and also the diano. And they said, the good moon was hard.
What can I, with the Sacklam of the Brain? You will say, not a more Bruno, and a fine. Bia not what's a day, a shame and I'm wanting to be a wound. And I'm one in a wound, Bruno, and now my own different a woman.
Bit Mark as one will be 2 years, but I'm not being found alone. So I did.
Well, I sent an amateur, a metric bag, and send a baby a woman come as I'm saying. I know a word for sing we know. When I'm say transparent and from a film, then I'm a Bruno and more better. Whether them from mine to me. We know recommended for the farmers. So me use we know.
And I am what they were saying, young man. Say, when you a poor you want to say. A very situation and yes, I give it to him, they use to say,
kuo no ya ahoboa se mo bayi ene mo ka se nyame ya dom ne se ugi atum a sa ne ma no e behia se kuo ba bia benya bi na esi dedi adwuma
tu ekofo a edo buro no fo se kuani bia hwese obenya zero fly bag ni bi na odi na buro agumo no wanya machine afide ya edi tese aburo yi ebi so ono an side se be ya wode aburo no esi a bohu se aburo no odi sie na awo na odi sie awo se nwe so de egu bag ni mu abesai na machine an so be che se aburo na awo anase nwe ti no ya de ba ko ametu akwafo nyina fo se ye mo modern se be nya sa de obi fi se ye nya bie no na ya buro no na enkosi hwe ba ye nya bie no mo se eye a be bu akwafo enti kakra me tuofo e wo ye akwafo ya ye do buro yi se ye nyina enta modi mo ne bo no supi sa ye tobi abe boye ama ye timi ya ye ku ano na ye timi so nya faso wo
eboa ama e buro no se wo de beto ho acha eboa ma otimi e hata bro no e ma ne ewo te se die machine e be kire o ba se wo sa na wo de si wa emu no essay okay
so da ma so ma be che wonderful machine
It's been so much hard work getting farmers to adopt post-harvest loss technologies, and seeing the testimony of these farmers really encourages us to keep going. Now, our last speaker for the day is Engineer Joseph Akowa. He's a senior lecturer at the Department of Agricultural and Biosystems Engineering at KNUST and a board member of Sesi Technologies. He'll be sharing with us the role that the department played in the early development of the moisture meter and how that has helped to establish the commercialization of the meter.
My name is Joseph Akowa. I'm a senior lecturer at the Department of Agriculture and Biosystems Engineering here at KNUST. I've been working with Paul Armstrong on the PHL project here in Ghana. And basically, the components of the project that I've been working on is trying to look at how we can address, challenges when it comes to moisture-related issues. Obviously, in Ghana, most of our farmers have challenges when it comes to moisture measurement in grains. Typically, they would, bite the grain, or they would dip their hand through a bag of, grain to determine whether the grain is, at the right moisture content. And obviously, this does not, as a country, give us the best in terms of, addressing post-harvest related issues. So on this project, the idea was to develop a moisture measuring device that would encourage, the accurate measurement of moisture content of grains and not through some kind of subjective means to measure the moisture content of grains. So having worked with Paul Armstrong, he initiated and developed this device back then in the US, but we needed to create a platform here in Ghana where we could sort of take up the research and be able to get this device established here and manufactured here in Ghana. So on the project, I volunteered from our institution here in KNUST to provide a research space so that we could, provide the research into how we could, develop such a system here in Ghana that will augur and support, our farmers, particularly in addressing post-harvest losses. So we provided a research space at the Department of Agriculture and Biosystems Engineering here at KNUST. And then for the first generation, we were able to assemble a couple of these moisture meters here and then engage some stakeholders and some farmers to try it. And then it turned out to be very good. Of course, the offshoot of every research is to get entrepreneurs that can, take it up and then scale it up and make sure that we can have these, systems or units developed locally. Having engaged Isaac Sesi back then to work with us on this research, he showed a lot of commitment and zeal to take this up after the research And therefore, that is the beginning of Sesi Technologies. And so I have been working with Sesi for all this while after the development of this device at the department or at the university. So to sort of provide that backstop as far as research is concerned, to provide that continuous leverage for him to be able to improve and better this device. So I am happy that we've come this far, and at this moment, GrainMate has, come out of the research that we have worked with Paul Armstrong to come out with this device. And so therefore, we as a research institution here in KNUST, we are very much happy to be associated as far as Sesi Technologies is concerned. And then we look forward that with GrainMate being launched, we would have it, spread throughout the country, sort of provide that encouragement for our farmers to tap into this research offshoot, to be able to use such basic technologies in addressing, their moisture measurement challenges. Of course, in terms of the development of every economy, which is supported by the backbone of it, agriculture, we would want to envisage or we want to ensure that our farmers also, play the part of, addressing some of these fundamental challenges that they face. And so we are happy that we continue to engage and then work with Isaac Sesi, providing him the research that supports the development and then the manufacturing of GrainMate to ensure that it will reach the levels that we all anticipate. And so therefore, I am very happy to be part of this launch of GrainMate today. Thank you.
Welcome to the second part of this launch. Thank you for staying with us up to this point. I am very excited for what we have to share with you today. It's been a very difficult year for everybody. Major industries have been disrupted by this global pandemic, and everyone is feeling the effects. When it comes to food security, the situation is worse. Already there are 821 million undernourished people globally, and this pandemic is set to increase that number to about 1 billion. And that makes the work that we're doing here at Sesi Technologies very important, because our team has been working hard to develop technologies that help farmers reduce losses in some of the remotest places in Ghana. And today, I am excited to share 2 of these technologies with you. The first, of course, is our GrainMate moisture meter. Since 2018, our GrainMate has been helping farmers reduce post-harvest losses in grains by making it easy for them to measure the moisture content of their grains. Lots of agribusinesses and commodity traders are using GrainMate to ensure that they can meet the requirements set by the food processing companies that they supply to. This year, we have made the moisture meter even better, and our latest generation, GM102, promises to deliver some amazing features. And to tell you more, let's invite Eunice.
Throughout the development of GrainMate, we have remained close to our customers and listened to their feedback. We have taken note of what they liked and what they wished we would improve. The new GrainMate GM102 moisture meter this year comes packed with new features and improvements based on feedback from our customers. We've made improvements to how long it takes to take a reading, the power consumption, calibration functionality, the size of the meter, the number of supported grains, and the overall build quality. And I'll talk more about this in a minute. The first area of improvement is the power consumption. The new GrainMate GM102 has replaced the 9-volt batteries used in our GrainMate GM101 with AA batteries. The AA batteries are 10 times cheaper than the 9-volt batteries and are more readily accessible, which means that users in the rural areas can easily find replacement batteries to buy without having to travel very far. We have also redesigned the whole hardware to consume less power. And when you power the device, it tells you the level of battery, so you can know if you have to replace the battery soon. The GM102 also comes with a sleep feature that will put the device to sleep after 10 minutes of no activity. All these improvements to the power supply now means that your battery lasts 10 times longer. The second way that the GM102 is better is the new mode of testing. Previously, you had to insert the probe in a sample and wait for up to 5 minutes to get a reading. Now, we have a better way of taking the readings. We now have a dedicated test button that you can use to initiate a test. We have developed an intelligent algorithm that has reduced the time it takes by more than 50%. The test now runs in the background and displays the final reading within a shorter time. And we've included a buzzer that will beep to tell you when the reading is ready. The third and one of the most requested features of the GrainMate GM102 is the new calibration feature. With the calibration feature, it is now possible to adjust the calibration for all of the commodities on the meter. This means your GrainMate can continue to read correctly for several years. All you have to do is to send your meter to your local standards authority at least once a year to be tested and recalibrated if necessary. Also, we have 2 lengths of probe to choose from. Instead of the default 75 centimeter probe option, you can now opt for the 50 centimeter probe option. This makes the device more portable and easier to carry around. This year, we've added 2 new crops to the GM102. The meter now supports millet and granite, and we plan to support new commodities early next year. Finally, there has been significant improvement to the build quality of the GM102. This means that the next meter you buy will be durable and more robust. We are excited about the GM102 and can't wait for you to start using it.
Thanks, Eunice. In case you didn't know, all of our design and manufacturing is done locally in Ghana. And we are proud to be developing technology solutions for African farmers right here in Africa. We're currently working on having the GM102 certified by the Ghana Standards Authority, and it will be available for purchase starting early next year. So for some time now, we've been asking ourselves, what could we do to create more value for the customers that have already bought our moisture meter? Now, as we spoke to customers, we made a few interesting observations. First of all, we observed that customers got confused about what the right moisture content in their grains should be after they have tested the moisture. Now, secondly, we noticed that most of our customers, or many of our customers, were just going into the grain value chain and they lacked experience when it came to post-harvest management. Now, thirdly, we also noticed that our customers kept coming back to us to ask us if we could connect them with aggregators, commodity traders, and other markets so that they could sell their grains. Now, to solve all of these challenges that our customers faced and to add more value to them, we built the GrainMate app. To talk more about the GrainMate app, here is Prince.
The idea behind the GrainMate app is to empower our customers with powerful digital tools to help them increase their productivity. Tools they can access right from their smartphones. We are piloting the app with 3 key tools which we have named Trade, Measure, and Learn. What is Trade? Trade is a marketplace that lets commodity traders and aggregators find each other and do business together. People who have commodities to sell can simply create a listing and the needed details and post their listing in the marketplace. People looking for commodities to buy can simply browse through available listings and contact any sellers that meet their requirements. With our trade tool, it means our customers, many of whom are commodity traders, can access new markets that would have otherwise been difficult. Through our trade tool, we are opening up new markets for the smallholder farmers we work with. With Trade, they will be able to find new buyers for the produce and sell for better price. This translates to more money in the pockets of the farmer and a better standard of living. Now let's talk about Measure. Measure lets customers who use GrainMate moisture meter keep track of their moisture readings and take action. After taking a test on the meter, users can record the moisture content and immediately know if the grain is dry enough or if they have to take further action. they can also keep track of which suppliers supply better quality grains. By keeping track of moisture content readings, customers can avoid losses that could impact their profits. The third tool is the Learn tool. For the past 2 years, we have worked with partners to train farmers on post-harvest management. We have taken our training content, digitized them, and put them in the app for everyone to be able to have access. From the app, farmers will be able to see courses in different areas of post-harvest management and lessons under each course. These are bite-sized lessons which are easy and fun to read. This means customers that are just going into the grain value chain can still build their knowledge. Now, aside from these tools that the app offers, there's more you can do with the GrainMate app as a customer. You can register your GrainMate devices and get fast and efficient customer services when you need it. You can also access all products manuals right from the app. Currently, the app is available for Android and you can download it from Google Play Store, and we are already planning to add new features to make the app better.
Now, I want to express my sincerest appreciation and gratitude towards all of our partners, all of our supporters, all of our sponsors, every single one that has supported us in one way or another, every single organization, partner, friend that has given us money, that has given us funding, that has helped us advance our mission in one way or another. I want to say a very big thank you to you. Thank you for helping us empower farmers with affordable technologies, and we will continue to ensure that all of your investment in us will not be in vain. Now, at this point, I want to thank you all for remaining with us and for staying with us throughout this launch. On behalf of the Sesi Technologies team, thank you. Stay safe. Merry Christmas. And have a happy new year.